Hello everyone, welcome back. We are on to Ruby in the Azurite C set review. Starting off with the pirate captain himself, Mickey Mouse. Shift 3, so 5 cost, 4/4, 2 lore. Shift 3, solid stats. When it quests, chosen pirate character gets +2 strength, and this character takes no damage from challenges this turn. Really strong card. Really solid kind of role player there. There are some cheap Mickeys that you can play, primarily in steel. There's the 1 cost 1/2 with the resist that you can shift onto, which you pair any 1 cost character with a 3 cost shifter in steel. You're looking down whole new world avenues. Same thing we see with Robin Hood, and that's a pretty stable 1-drop that can be played into a Cinderella. So it could be a new avenue for Ruby Steel songs or Ruby Steel whole new world pirates, whatever. Primarily going to be looking at either amber or steel with this card to pair with because of the plethora of pirates in those two colors. Solid card, getting a 3.5, not quite a 4, but really strong card. Definitely fits into a lot of niche decks. I think in those decks, again, kind of it's a bit of a cop-out to say in those decks where it's played, it's probably a 4 out of 5, but as a whole, on the face value, it's probably not quite a 4. But it is a very strong card, and I expected to see a lot of play with Whole New World and without Whole New World, just in pirates in general, or just as a really good shift party. Yeah, solid card. Kakamora, Boarding Party. All right. 4 cost 5/2 rush. I don't think we've had that stat line. I think we've had some 4/3s for rush and 4. The 5 is a little bit better than the 4/3. You should really look at this as kind of like a Zeus in some ways, but not quite as good. It can't be sung. I think there's some chance this may see some. That's not seeing play. I'm lying. 1.5. Uninkable. If this was inkable, sure, but nah. All right, play this character. Chosen pirate character gains evasive until the start of your next turn. So back to pirates. Guess who's also a pirate? Piglet, I should say. Piglet is a pirate. Pirate, Piglet. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickle peppers. Blah. Piglet is a pirate, and you can give the 2-cost Piglet, which is a captain and a pirate, evasive until your next turn. Kind of similar to the Gazelle we saw out of Emerald. Could be good in type of a pirate aggressive deck that's using Amber and Ruby. I'd have to look at the kind of all of the different pirates to make a generalization on if this card's playable. It gets an extra point of health for having the pirate condition versus any card. But the any card part is probably more flexible and better than this. But solid card. I think it's a 2. It's fine. It can be good in that specific situation. And it is strange to see this type of effect in multiple colors, but kind of cool. Next up, we have a Jasmine. So we saw the Jasmine shift in Emerald in the previous video, but in this one, we see it in Ruby. I think this is the first Ruby Jasmine we've had. It is a cool card. Whenever a character quests, each opponent loses a lore, so it is a pretty big swing. The stat line is going to keep it from being too great. I think this is mostly for limited play. 2 stars here. I don't expect this to see much play. Ruby has not really been one for nickel and diming your opponent. But fringe potential. But I think it's a cool card. I'm glad it exists. Again, we haven't seen much of this type of effect in the game widespread, but kind of cool to see it crop up, especially on Jasmine. One of the cards I think I am underestimating still is Raya. I'm not going to pronounce that one. Raya Rider. We're going to go with Rider. Raya. Once during your turn, whenever a card's put into your inkwell, you may ready a chosen character of yours. They can't quest for this turn. So, got to find something else to do with them, something to protect them with. Pretty strong card. I'm going to go with 3.5 here. It is super solid as far as what it does. There are some cards in the set that it works pretty well with. It works really well with the Goofy, that the 5-cost Emerald Goofy that protects your character. You can ready that character to protect it and then give it this card Ward. So you essentially have Ward Goofy that never gets unreadied, and the Raya also is immune from being shrunk with Ice Block for Sisu, so that'll at least survive. Giving this thing Ward is pretty strong, pretty sweet. I'm a big fan of it in general. I think it'll see a lot of play with the Gaston, the Amber Gaston that reduces cost by 2. You can go that on turn 3. Reduce this to 2, play it, then play an ink, ready the Gaston, use the Gaston again. That's pretty cool. Anything that is good into challenging, the new Maui, which we'll get to, can challenge twice. Anything that is good at challenging is going to be good with this. And it has the Hero Princess. Really wish it was a pirate, but I guess it's not on theme. But it's a strong card. Big fan. And the enchantment's kind of cool looking. All right, next up, Wendy Darling. A card I underestimated at first, mainly because it has it's not the greatest at uninkable. but the big part about it is it's a captain for Smee, and functionally reads as a 2-cost 2/2, a quest for 2 with evasive. That's really strong. 3.5 again. I think solid role player, really good in a lot of decks. In some decks it'll be 4s, but not quite a 4 generically. Pretty excited to see Ruby Steel or Ruby Amber Pirates be really aggressive and hopefully get underneath of the Ruby Sapphire decks that we're seeing kind of dominate the late game in a lot of ways and be very very stifling to aggressive decks with Sisu and Be Prepared and all that jazz. I think this will help get under there. I think it's a super solid card. Love it with Smee. Smee on turn 2, this on turn 3, along with another 1. Amazing. Yeah, big fan of the aggressive Pirates. Ruby got a lot of heat this set, and unlike the last set, we got 0 cards. But yeah, pretty big fan. John Silver, Ferocious Friend. Whenever this character quests, you may deal 1 damage to another chosen character. If you do, ready that character, it can't quest. I don't think this is good at all. This is gonna 1. I'm moving on. It requires you to quest, not on play. It's uninkable, which I didn't even realize. I thought it was inkable up till this exact moment, and it's I'm off it. Yeah. So Vanellope von Schweetz, Gusty Go-Getter. Start of your turn, if this character is at a location, draw a card and gain a lore. Works with the Speedway, the Ruby location that costs 0 to move to, and then you can throw things places. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this card. It's not amazing, but kind of making any any location into a Queen's Castle is kind of cool. There aren't too many that are like good enough to play early or cost 0 to move to where I'm thrilled by it. But the fact that you can put this on a Raceway, if you can find a Raceway deck, this card will go right into it and it'll be great. 2.5 because I think it could be strong. Again, depending on the location. So we'll see how that all plays out, but we'll hold our breath for that. Big fan. Michael Darling. 1 cost 2/2 pirate. I don't know if there are other 1 cost 2/2 pirates. I think it's just Captain Hook is the only other 1 cost pirate I can think of at the moment. I might be wrong, but of all the 1 cost 2/2s, this is a 2 simply for its pirate stat line. Pirates, there are some synergies there, and if you're trying to make use of the Jim Hawkins from set 1 or from the set in Amber, you're gonna probably play this card in your deck as a 4 of just to have something to do on turn 1. So yeah, solid card, role player. Moving on. Aladdin, Fearless Navigator. 2 cost 2/3 Hero Prince. Nothing to see here. There are some shift targets, and this is probably the best shift target we've seen in straight Ruby. The set 1 had the 3 cost 2/2 that made your opponent lose a lore. Fine, but not amazing. This is fine. I think for its card types, and is a prince for potentially Pride Lands. The other, I think one of the Aladdins wasn't a prince or something like that. The Steel one I don't think is a prince, or isn't a hero. I can't remember which one, but solid. Could make some splash there. Working with the Pride Lands is kind of interesting. So getting that 2-star rating for that purpose there. Murawski, Space Trooper. So weird card, right? I don't know if we've seen this stat line. 4 cost 3/2 evasive with 2 lore. We've seen the inverse. We've seen a 2/3 for 3 lore on Tinkerbell in set 1 and Pongo. So this is a little bit different. It dies to Storm, but doesn't die to Brawl. Which one gets more played right now? Storm, so it's not as good, but it could be played. This is like one of those fringe, if the metagame's right kind of thing, and it makes sense to play an evasive threat on 4. I'm sure Humble love this card. But it's getting a solid 2 from me. Probably good and limited, not great anywhere else. Yes, more Rush characters that are just so much worse than Maui. This one does have 2 lore, so it's getting a 1/2 star out of me, 1.5. But it's just worse than Maui. Cool for limited, sure. Next up here, while it's at a location, we've seen so many of these Mickeys and stuff at a location gets 2 strength. I feel like we've had this card before, but like in Steel. I think there is a Steel version, Claire or something like that has this exact text, but it's a 1 for me. It's a 1 for me, dog. Next up here, we have oh my gosh, what's this person's name? Adora Bezel Winterpop. Adora Bezel Winterpop. Ice Rocket Racer. Okay. 3 cost 1/5. I'm not liking it. Well, it has damage, gets 1 lore. Nope. Even if it's a 3 cost 1/5 with 2 lore, it's still not great. Moving on. Moving on to something I actually like here. So, this one. So, Moana, self-taught tailor. Can't challenge unless you have a captain play. Wendy Darling's the captain. This is a pirate. This is a hero. This is a princess. All really good card types, right? This one's pretty fantastic. Even if this just said it couldn't challenge, period, no clause to make it be able to challenge, this card's really good. 3 power on a 1-cost card on defense means it survives the Mim test by itself. It just is a 1-cost card that can quest into a Mim Snake, Mim Fox, doesn't matter. It's really good. This is a very scary card for me to have printed. It's like a very good card. I think it's going to see playing a lot in every Ruby-based pirate deck. Anything that can turn it on captain-wise is really strong. And we're not even going to get to the shift part right now, but we're going to get to it in a minute here. I can't give this a 4 because it's not powerful. It's a very good card, but it's not powerful. It's just a very strong card. 3.5. That's like powerful effects and effects that push get the 4s, which again, there are a few more 4s, and there's, I think, 1 5 in the set. But I don't know if there's any 4.5s, but there's, that one maybe, but we'll get to that. But yeah, this one is really solid. I expect to see this a ton of play in decks again that have captains like Piglet or Wendy Darling or not. I mean, Ruby Amber Pirates just seems kind of legit. In all honesty, it does seem pretty strong, and I'm gonna look forward to trying it out. This is gonna be one of the linchpins to that deck for sure. Next up, John Darling. John gets the end of the stick there that no one likes. It's not very good. 1/4. Again, we could have a Singer 4 on this card ability and still be fine, but yeah. All right, next up, one of my favorite cards in the set. When you play this character, your characters get +2 strength this turn. So very reminiscent of Cricky from set 4. The Emerald 5-cost 3/4. Ruby honestly doesn't have too many 4-cost cards. So as long as you're not playing this in a deck that has Amethyst as well, which Amethyst is the color that is most glutted with 4-cost cards in the entire game, everyone else doesn't really have very good 4s, honestly. There are very few other colors that have 4s that you really want to play other than Amethyst. If you just look at the broad picture of all the colors that play 4s, Hiram's like 1, Rapunzel's the other one, Steel has, now Naveen is one of them too, but they're very high key cards, not like the commons and uncommons. This one's very strong. You can shift this off on the Steel 1-cost Aladdin. There's a 1/3 Aladdin from set 4 that this can shift onto if you really want to shift. But even just as being played, again, the disparity between cards that have shift and have when played but not when shifted is really rough to like make sense of. I don't quite understand why there's such a difference between when played or versus when shifted, except for power level, and I think it should be balanced better and all the same. Solid card. 3. I had this higher initially in my review, but it's not really like what I think the format's going to be about as much. I think some of the cards are going to stand on their own pretty well, but it is a really good role player. Yeah, it does buff itself. Yes, it does buff itself when you play it, so for sure. But all characters getting +2 is pretty strong. Works with Li Shang, which is one of my things I want to try out. The Li Shang, that's a Floodborn from set 4. That's the 3/2 that characters with greater than 4 strength get additional lore is pretty strong. I want to try that out in some capacity, but we'll see how it goes. But yes. Next up here, Minnie Mouse, Hero Pirates, uninkable 3/2 for 3. So once during your turn, when you put a card into your inkwell, you may return a location from your discard to your hand. That's pretty strong, honestly. Baseline, it should function as when you play an ink, draw a card, because anything you pick up should be able to be used as ink. That's really what it looks at. I'm not saying that this reads that all the time, or that there's a lot of instances where locations are not always put into your discard. They can be ignored for some period of time there. But this card's pretty strong. I think it's solidly a 3. Again, I think this one's a 3 in a different way that Aladdin is. Aladdin is a 3 because it's not always going to be useful. This one is a 3 because it's a little bit harder to use, but it's uninkable, meaning the effect is very powerful and even justifies that kind of rating even without being inkable. I don't think we're quite there for this card to be amazing. There's not enough cheap, like there's the Bayou and Nottingham Palace, I believe, in Steel. There's Thebes in Steel, which cares about challenging. There's a couple ones in Steel we'll get to as well. But I think this one could be good depending on how much demand there is for early locations to be answered. Being able to recur them and then use them as ink later is pretty strong. Or even recur something like the RLS Legacy, but that's, again, asking a lot for your uninkable count. Could be good. Solid role player in a lot of decks, location decks specifically. We'll see how it goes. But I think it's used best when you have a lot of small locations versus some of the bigger locations. So we'll see if a deck like that exists. Next up, one of my favorite cards in the set, Moana. We talked about the Moana that we could shift onto just now, the 3-2 for one. That's amazing. This one says 7 cost, 5 or 6/5, huge, right? It's huge. Shift 5, which will happen sometimes it won't. This one again is a weird one where it doesn't have to be shifted to use its effect. Move any number of your characters to the same location for free. Gain 1 character for each one you move. So a baseline, when you play this character, if you have a location to play, you gain 1 lore. But really what it reads as, when you play this character, gain 1 lore for each character you have in play. That's an effect that's pretty strong on an inkable card that actually has other text. I'm really a pretty big fan of this one. I think there could be some type of location deck that utilizes this, kind of floods the board pretty quickly. I don't know if you can fit it into a whole new world deck to make use of it, but this with Jim Hawkins, the Ruby Jim Hawkins that puts locations to free, and then playing this the turn after to move everything else that's in play to that location, then quest for a bunch, could be great. I think this one's a solid, again, 3.5. It's not quite as powerful. It's close to a 4. This is as close to a 4 as you can get without being a 4. It's, again, going to require the right deck to be great. But in the decks where it's great, it's the best card in it. And I think that's where that kind of lies. Basically, again, for every character in play that you have, gain a lore is what it really reads, as long as you have a location in play. How much lore do I need to get to make it feel great? Probably 3. 3 is good. I mean, 3 is a good amount of lore when you play a character to gain 3 lore. Are you kidding? Like, that's so you need 2 other characters in play that are not at a location. That's really easy to do. Big fan. Gonna try this in a lot of decks. Not sure exactly what color pair. Probably ones with good locations. So maybe Steel. I don't know if it quite fits into Amethyst Ruby. Amethyst Ruby has a really tough barrier to entry to make a deck better than what it looks at currently. So we'll see, but who knows. Next up, Pete. I have no idea why this is a rare. Get out of my face. I don't want it. I don't want anything to do with this card. Why is this a rare? I hate opening this card. Next up, Goofy. Why is this a rare? Rush Evasive. Sure, I guess. Uninkable. No. Go away. Those are 2 cards which you open them, I pity you. I pity you. Go away. Maui. We are here to one of the better cards in the set. I think it's going to be the best. Let me see here. I'm taking a quick look to see about the Ruby cards, if this is the best Ruby card or if there's anything else. This might be the best Ruby card. Probably is. So Evasive, it's huge. 7 strength, 5 willpower, evasive. Pretty hard to kill. Dies to Zeus, sure. Dies to, well, I don't count World's Greatest Criminal Mind as a thing. Whenever this challenges a character, you may return an action card from your discard to your hand. When you play an action, gain 1 lore. It really is a big build around, right? You're really wanting to get to a point where you have a bunch of actions that are good that help you get to a point in the game where you've exhausted all your opponent's resources, and then you play this as like the game ender, where you play it and you get to do its effect one time and then the game should end. I feel like most of the time you're going to play this, it's going to be good into good in Emerald Ruby, because you can make your opponent discard cards. You can do anything to do with readying it. You Came Back works with it. However, you can just ready it to get its effect, meaning you could use like I think there's a 1 cost Fan the Flames from set 1 is the same effect in this context for this character, since it has to challenge to do it, not just quest, where You Came Back is much better at making sure that you get the questing benefits of a card more than once. So this one doesn't have a quest benefit, has a challenge benefit. So I think it will ultimately it's a very powerful card, right? Playing an action, gaining a lore. We looked at cards like one of the reasons I really wish that some of the self-mill cards, some of the ones that discard the top of the deck, were either player, is because the deck I want to explore with this card specifically was We Know the Way. It's a Amethyst song from set 5 that you return a card from your discard into your deck, shuffle your deck, and then reveal the top card of your deck. If it's the same card or has the same name, then you get to play it for free. So 2 of them is essentially infinite, and this has whenever you play an action, gain a lore. So we thought about that previously with I can't remember the card's name, the Amber card, that when you play a song, gain a lore, functions the same way as this card does, but you can't deck yourself with any of those mill cards. So it's kind of unfortunate to see that, but this card could make some waves there. I think this one's a 3.5. I don't think that's quite a 4. I think this is about as good as it gets for this color. I think some of the other ones we've seen may have been a little bit better, honestly. I think maybe the best Ruby card in this set is going to be that one cost Moana or the Wendy Darling. Those cards are extremely powerful, but they're not super powerful effects. They're just really good cards. Ruby gets a ton of really good cards. I don't like to see this one being as low as this, but I feel like it's going to be a card that when you play it, you really need to just hope that it does something or survives a turn or is too slow to get through some of the steel removal decks. It's going to get ignored, bounced, or Bruno'd or something against the green steel decks. It's going to be ignored or Maleficent Dragon out of blue-red. Maybe in blue-red this serves some purpose because you get to reuse Sail, which we'll get to as a card. I think maybe in those type of decks, sure, we'll bump it up to a 4 in the Sapphire-based decks. This is strictly in Sapphire, Ruby Sapphire, in a specific versions of the deck that this deck kind of exists. It sees a 4 as, but I think it's going to fall short most of the time. But it's a cool card. Really love it. Really want to experiment a ton of decks with it. Either you need to empty your opponent's hand before you play this card and then use it to close the game, or have it be powered out on turn 4, which is not too hard to do. And those are the only ways I see it even play. So we'll see what comes up next in the near future with this card. I'm going to experiment with it a ton, see how it goes, but yeah. Very similar to the Emerald Hercules. I don't understand this card, although I think this card's a little bit better than that one. Giving this a 2. For the sole purpose of if your opponent can't interact with a character of yours with a rush or an action, this character consistently can just trade any type of value card you have. Like the Cusco, that's not the Cusco, the Diablo, that's like a Cusco and it's banished draw card. Yeah, when you get to do this with that type of effect, it looks really good. But it doesn't quest, it just helps control the board. Maybe against certain types of decks, but again, in that context, it really needed to be inkable to be good. So not too thrilled, but we'll see. Tigger, in the Crow's Nest. Evasive, when you play an action, it gets +1 strength and +1 lore this turn. It could be really strong. This one is like almost good enough to be great, right? It's again, this is a solid 3.5. Unfortunately, I keep hating to give 3.5 to everything because they're not quite great, but they're really good. Questing for 1, being evasive, you can. I like this card against Diablo. I mean, honestly, against Diablos, it's really good at challenging them because the Diablo deck's going to have a little bit of a hard time killing these with the 4 willpower. But it can also challenge back pretty well if you play 2 actions, deal with 2 other things, then use this to hit and to also gain a bunch of lore if you play a bunch of actions in the same turn. With Robin Hood, yeah, solid card. I think this is a cool build around and could be a lot of fun. I'm definitely going to try this out in the Emerald Ruby actions decks for sure. All right, Scar, Heartless Hunter, which was reluctantly and sadly previewed today as the set championships card. And I'm not saying reluctantly because I think it's a bad card and not going to be fun as a set championship card, but the set championships version on the English version of the Lorcana app showed this as inkable, which would have been so much better because this card's so close to being really good. I think it's close to being good enough. I think this is getting a 3 for its uninkability. If this was inkable, it'd be a 4. Inkable 4, easy 4. Really, really strong card. So it's a 5 cost 4/2 that quests for 3, which is huge. That has Teeth Inhibition stapled onto it when you play it. Self-damaging effects are always kind of cool. It can function as removal in character-heavy decks like Mufasa. Kind of works with Mufasa in some way because you could just shoot your own Mufasa, the Ember one, I should say, to make it a little bit weaker and then trade it off and then kill their Diablo. One of the cards that those types of decks have always struggled with is Diablo. So this answering Diablo while maintaining the character count and being high is pretty good. I expect this to see play. I'm probably going to include it in a lot of my Mufasa, Ember Mufasa decks early on. But yeah, solid card. Really wish it was inkable. Really wish this card was inkable. It'd be so cool to play a lot of this card because it's a fun effect. I think it's a very, requires some setup, requires deck building, requires the right situation, but is a powerful card and is a bad top deck. So there's some negative to it because you do have to shoot something. So if you have nothing in play and you draw this card, you can't play it because it'll just kill itself. So that's But yeah, I wish it was inkable for that reason. But yeah, could be good. All right, Thievery. Weird. I guess we have a Pirate's Life as a 6 cost song, which makes them lose 2 lore and you gain 1 lore. But yeah, we're getting kind of close to the amount of just free gain lore cards. I mean, right? We have the Amethyst cards, which now we have Gather Knowledge and Wisdom. We have the Flower, whatever it was, the 3/3 from this set, and Goat. And my cat is now joining us. Now he is leaving us because he doesn't like me anymore because I did not hear his initial call. But yeah. If your opponent still has 0 lore, you still gain a lore. Yes, you still do. It is just gain a lore, but your opponent loses lore. They don't have to gain lore. It doesn't say if they lose lore, gain lore like that. So yeah, solid card. Excited to see some play in some very aggressive type decks, but not really my cup of tea in general. Lead the way. Characters, yeah, I'd rather just play the Aladdin. I'm moving on from this one. Nothing to see here. Islands, I pulled from the sea. Maui making the world go round. Where did you go? Oh, you left me. I see how it is. My cat left me. So sad. This is enchanted, I think, too. Weird. Search your deck for a location, put it to your hand. Kind of cool. There's no real utility locations I'm looking at right now as like, oh yeah, that'd be great to have as a bullet answer to something. Maybe the Elsa Ice Palace that lets you lock down a card. Sure. But this is kind of uninkable garbage, I think. 1.5. Not impressed. Same with this. Too much. Costs too much. Don't put this in your deck. Cool for limited. Way too much. Play Dragonfire instead and constructed, please. Yeah. Yeah. Moving on. Don't need to dwell on that one. Chosen character yours gains evasive until the start of your next turn. This card is interesting. I don't really like it that much. Mainly because I think the ability to repeatably gain evasive is a little obnoxious for limited play. This card is probably one of the best limited cards in the game, giving everything evasive. I doubt this is where you want to be in constructed. Maybe there's a world where you want to have this as the way to protect your characters over and over again, develop some 1 or 2 cost things, and maybe you play Ruby, Amethyst, and just protect everything from challenges over and over again. You know, you play a 1 on turn 1, 2 1s on turn 3, then you play this and another 1, then you protect them for the rest of the game. Who knows? I don't think it's going to work out because it gives evasive till the start of your next turn, but yeah. We'll see. The fact that it's repeatable is pretty good, but I'm not sure it'll work. It's not quite a Maui's Fish Hook because Maui's Fish Hook can only affect 1 character. This one can affect multiple, so that's why it could be better. All right, banish chosen. What? Banish this character. So this is like a Sword of Virtue, but it costs 2 less, but only has a 1-time use. Yeah, yawn. Moving on. 1. Your damaged character gets +1. Nope, I'm over this one too. Conditional buff is not really worth it because we have a less conditional buff coming up. Let's go here. At the start of your turn, if you have a character here, all opponents lose 1 lore and you gain 1 lore equal to the lore lost this way. So pretty good multiplayer, I guess. Doesn't have inherent lore by itself, is uninkable. I'm going to move on from this one. I'm not really thrilled by these conditional lore gaining ones that have no other effect. The lose lore is kind of cool, but I don't think it's really great. Yeah. However, the one that is a little bit better is this one, Skull Rock Isolated Fortress. The last card in the set. Let's break our necks once more. Your characters here get +1 strength while here. Really good. The +1 strength, kind of like Lumiere from set 3 or 4. Giving +1 strength can be really relevant. We saw how good Hidden Cove is. One of the cards that's won multiple DLCs at this point. This one, a little bit less kind of efficient than Hidden Cove. It is the same kind of stat line for 1 more ink. No lore being gained, but if you have pirates here, you get lore out of the deal. I think it's a solid role player, 2.5. Not thrilled with it overall, but it probably will make a lot of decks that have pirates in them that help get the strength buffs to make trades happen a lot better, to dodge Sisus and Medusas and things like that. But it's a fine card. I expect to see some play. Not thrilled by it. Want some better locations eventually in this game, but we'll see. Right now, it feels like Queen's Castle still reigns supreme. But we'll go back to... I think I need to reevaluate a little bit. I do think, and I don't say this lightly, I know all the cards in the set. I know all the cards there. I think this is the best Ruby card. And this card's very good. It's not exciting, is the thing. Is why it's hard to say it's the best card. Yes, Maui, the shark, is exciting. That one does a lot of cool things. I think the Moana Self-Taught Sailor is going to be the best Ruby card that sees the most amount of play, among the most amount of decks. Very good stat line is really what it is. It can quest continuously into all the problematic cards. This is the best card, I think, for Ruby in the set. This is the most exciting card for Ruby in the set. I think they're both comparable in power level, but I think the Moana is going to see a lot more play and win a lot more games. But that's been it for Ruby here. Thanks again, and join me next time here. Next video, we're going to go over the next setup, which is Sapphire. Some of the most wild cards in the set are Sapphire. It makes sense. We're on the sea. Sapphire is blue. Sea is blue. So why not make the best cards in the set blue? But yeah, tune in next time. I will see you all there.